Hello and welcome to your daily Manchester United transfer fix on the United Stand. We've got everything covered for you and today let's fly into it. You know, Monaco is very quickly turning into the old Atletico Madrid. We want Griezmann, we think they're only going to let us have one player from there at most, but we quite like Oblak, Solniguez, Carrasco, Jimenez the centre-back. We're only probably going to get one. Well, we're back in Monaco again. Yesterday we were talking about this bid for Mbappe. I would like Fabinho as that centre defensive midfielder because he can play right back and centre back as well. If we're not going to use Luke Shaw, Mendy would be a very good left back. I know a lot of you like Bakayoko, but we're here today to talk about Bernardo Silva. Very good piece in The Independent yesterday. I don't normally shout out other media outlets, but there was a really good piece on Bernardo Silva and how Mourinho really does like him. And it has been mentioned a few times over the last 2 to 3 months. Bernardo Silva, for those who don't know much about him, and I'm sure you've been watching him in the Champions League with Monaco, 22 years old, Portuguese, and people liken him to sort of like a David Silva or Juan Mata, but he really is the playmaker that gets Monaco ticking. Like I say, 22, but he's got more to his game than Mata and Silva. I'm not saying he's on that level. He's not far off, but he's quicker. He's a better dribbler. He moves the ball very quick as well. And whilst I understand what people are saying, we've already got Mkhitaryan and Mata, I just think that Mourinho, if there is an option to get Bernardo Silva, would quite like him. The infographic, I must just say as well, please drop a like on the video. We are going to do this as a regular show now on the United Stand, and for that reason, the Draughty Devil has designed us a brand new studio, which is fantastic. So please do drop us a like. We've got the infographic on my left for Bernardo Silva there. As you can see, scored 9 goals this season, of which 6 have been in the league, in the French league. £86 million is what we would predict he would cost, although it was only last week that people were saying we might get him for £40 million. Look, you know what? I've got one thing to say, and I said this last summer, and somebody pulled me up on this yesterday. Oh, you said when we got Mourinho, George Mendes clients would be coming out of our ears at Manchester United, and it was Raiola. Look, I don't know everything. I don't profess to know everything. We get quite a lot right on the United Stand. We do get stuff wrong. But when we got Mourinho, he's very close to George Mendes, the super agent, and we haven't actually acquired any of George Mendes's clients yet. But today is very interesting because not a lot of people know that, like, she was only 70. I'm not doing Michael Caine, I'm not very good at it. But Bernardo Silva is a client of George Mendes, which it doesn't mean it's going to happen. It just lifts the likelihood a little bit. So keep an eye on Bernardo Silva. I would welcome him at Manchester United. I think he's a very good creative player in and around that sort of number 10 position. But if you get Griezmann, do you need Silva when you've got Mata and Mkhitaryan, and I've got a bit high-pitched as well? Who knows? Next player I want to talk about, Nelson Semedo. Bayern Munich, remember them? Renato Sanchez, remember him from Benfica this time last year. We were hotly tipped to get Renato Sanchez. Louis van Gaal dragged his feet. United respected Van Gaal dragging his feet, even though we knew we were probably going to get rid of him, and we lost the Sanchez deal because he went to Bayern Munich. Semedo, interested for Manchester United from before Christmas, but Bayern Munich quite fancy him right back as a replacement for the retiring Philipp Lahm. However, there are reports that Bayern Munich have been put off by the 30 million price tag that Benfica wants. Semedo actually has a ridiculous 65 million buyout clause, but Benfica have, very accommodating, have said that they'll take 30 million pounds. Bayern Munich don't want to pay that. Manchester United may well want to play that. He's 23 years of age. He is a right back, and we have Antonio Valencia. Do I think we'll be signing Semedo? I don't know. I would lean towards not, but we have been linked to him for quite a long time. And £30 million isn't a hell of a lot for Manchester United. I just wonder why would we go and sign somebody like him when we've already got Antonio Valencia? I think Fabinho far suits us better as being the centre defensive midfielder, but a backup for Valencia if we need him. And Fabinho is a George Mendes client, just like Bernardo Silva. And you know what? So is Semedo. Nelson Semedo, also a George Mendes client. So George Mendes could be a key player this summer. Of course, I'm only going to mention it because it's fantasy talk. Another George Mendes client is Cristiano Ronaldo. I'd like him as my replacement for Zlatan this summer, but I'm getting ahead of myself. One player I do want to talk about is Casper Dahlberg. We touched on him a couple of weeks ago on a transfer show, just letting you know about him. Plays for Ajax. You probably saw him last night. He's no surprise to us. He's a very good young player, 19 years of age, playing for Ajax. Reminds a lot of those people who've watched him as a young Fernando Torres. And I know Torres played for Liverpool, but actually quick, strong, good finisher, can run with the ball. There was nothing wrong with Fernando Torres, the player. He just played for Liverpool. Dahlberg has come out and said it for himself to 442 magazine, though, that he's not quite ready for a move to Manchester United yet. He did mention another minor club. I think they end with City, but he definitely mentioned Manchester United. Not ready for it yet. And to be honest, I think he's a great player of the future potentially, but yeah, it doesn't fit in with what I think we need as a number 9. We've got Rashford, we've got Martial potentially. We need a striker who can come in and score goals straight away. Whether he's 23, whether he's late 20s, we need somebody of experience, and it won't be Dahlberg for me. Varane is on there below. You'll be wondering why I'm talking about Varane. Well, obviously, the David De Gea thing, we don't know what's going to happen with that. But if you listen to reports on what people are saying, if De Gea did go to Real Madrid, the likelihood of the player that would come back to Manchester United as part of that deal is Rodriguez or Varane. They're the players that apparently Manchester United are scouting. We know about Rodriguez, another George Mendes client. Varane isn't, but he's been a long admirer of Mourinho, and Mourinho admires him. So as a centre-back, he'd be absolutely perfect. So keep an eye on that. That's why we're mentioning Varane. At the moment, if De Gea goes to Real Madrid, it's likely to be Rodriguez or Varane who comes back the other way. Although Morata and Kroos, as Di Marzio said last night, are potentially on that list as well. But I like Ronaldo for the second time today, if he's listening. And I also want to talk finally about, this is an interesting one. Luke Shaw out for the season. Many suspect he'll go because him and Mourinho don't get on. Odds-on favourites at the moment to sign Luke Shaw, Manchester City. Now, surely that wouldn't happen. 3-1. It's not massive odds, but it's the shortest odds you'll get at the moment. We know that Manchester City need to increase their English quota within their squad. Luke Shaw is very English, last time I checked. They probably need a left-back as well. My concern is Luke Shaw to Man City, Joe Hart to us. Duncan Castles, who's a journalist who really likes Mourinho, said yesterday that Manchester United are hot favourites to get Mourinho's #1 priority if De Gea goes, Joe Hart. I don't want Joe Hart at Manchester United. I'm adamant about it. I won't welcome him. I don't really want Lukaku and Michael Keane, but if Mourinho thinks they're good enough, I will back them. I don't want Joe Hart at Manchester United. Call me old school, stubborn, whatever. I don't want Joe Tart at Manchester United. He's a Manchester City player. He's been rubbing it in at Manchester City for the last few years. He's arrogant. I don't really think he's that good a goalkeeper anyway. I don't want him. Lots to talk about though. Bernardo Silva, Nelson Semedo, Dahlberg if you fancy him, Varane, Rodriguez, Luke Shaw, Joe Hart. Did we talk about anybody else? Fabinho as well. Give us your comments below. Please do drop a like on the video if you like the fact that we're doing this. And I think the studio just deserves a like anyway. Fantastic work from the Draughty Devil. I'll be back tonight. It's the big one, Celta Vigo. We'll be live from 7:15 with the team news. Can't wait for it, but I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you like the studio. Get commenting below on any other transfer rumours or the ones we've discussed today. Really want to see what you've got to say. Thanks for watching.